In our second segment, we were able to get an interview with the principal herself.
Welcome to a special edition of Goodbye the Gecko with Miss Lida. How did you feel about the first time you arrived at SIS?
When I first arrived at SIS, it was in Junction campus, and I was walking along the street, and all I remembered were these large trees on the side of the street. And I said, this cannot be a school. And it took me quite a while to get used to a school inside the residential area. But what I remember the most were students playing in the field and students playing in the secret garden. That was truly special.
What is your favorite memory from SIS?
I love those times when students would come here and they will just drop letters or some messages for me. 2 years ago, somebody wrote, Miss Leda, why do you have your lunch at 2 p.m.? Please eat your lunch on time. And sometimes I would receive notes where, you look tired today, Miss Leda. Please get some rest. So I love those moments. I also love it when students just knock on my door and say, it's my birthday, here's some cake. I love being invited to the classrooms when we read books or when we celebrate the learning. I love School Without Walls. I love joining the grade 4, grade 5 trips. It's a very special moment. I remember last year, I had a few students get out of the tent and we just watched the stars. I love field trips. I love working with our teachers. Our teachers are some of the best educators we'll ever work with. I love that they look at our lessons and will say, is this good enough for our geckos? So I love working with the parents and I'm planning events for you. There's just too many special moments.
What are some goals that you had when you first arrived at SIS? Did you achieve some of them?
So when I first arrived at SIS, I was not yet the principal. This was 8 years ago. I was the PYP coordinator. That's the role that Mrs. Doig is in now. So my goal then was to provide a curriculum that is the most meaningful, most practical, and just the best ever for our geckos. And I think we did a good job for that. And then I became an assistant principal in Jingshan for nursery up to grade 1. And some of our goals then were to improve safety around the campus and make sure that language development is very strong. And we have strong readers and writers in kindergarten and grade 1, and to make sure that learning is inquiry-based. Moving here to the Bay, we had accomplished so many goals specific to strengthening our reading and writing program. And this year, some of the goals that we're very proud of is to really enhance student leadership at the Bay. And I think you did very well in making sure that we meet those goals. In fact, Gecko News, you reporters are one of our student leaders. And we want to make sure that that continues because you have inspired students, other students, younger students, to also take your place.
What do you hope for SIS in the future?
My hope for SIS in the future is to continue to be the most caring, most rigorous, and most innovative school in Shenzhen and in southern China. I believe we are the best school that can provide a very stable and very strong practices in learning and teaching. And it's not just academic learning, it's academic learning plus social emotional well-being, plus you get to learn the best way that you can in many different ways. And, you know, Bella, you learn a little bit differently from your friend next to you. And so I know that our teachers can respond to those differences very well. So we want to continue with that, and we want our geckos to be more involved in the wider community, you know, through service and through action.
Thank you, Ms. Leda.
Thank you, Bella, and thank you, Gecko News.
Wow, she was so knowledgeable.
Agreed. That was a great final interview.
And now for everyone's favorite segment.
Ink! 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 Ink!
What do you want to say to Miss Leda? You know she's leaving.
say once a gecko, always a gecko.
That she has a good health and always be happy.
I just want to say thank you for everything. We're going to miss you so much. And you are just an amazing person. And I love you. And go Geckos always!
What is your favorite memory with Miss Leda?
Well, my favorite memory of Miss Leda is in my first year when I used to teach grade 1. And I was in a meeting with all the grade 1 teachers, and Miss Leda looked at me and laughed at me and told me, Mr. Fanamava, you're such a bad dancer.
What will you miss most about Miss Leda?
I'm going to miss a lot about Miss Leda, but the one thing I'm going to miss the most is her wonderful smile. She's always smiling and laughing, so I think that's really important.
I think my favorite memory with Miss Leda is when she was interviewing me for this job to come and work here. And the funniest thing was we were both on like a Teams meeting, and so she was sitting at her dining room table at her house, and she had asked some serious question, and we were like, and the next minute this little fluffy tail walks past her table behind her like this, and I was like,
I wish you could stay at SIS with us and be our principal. Goodbye.
When was the first time you met Miss Leda?
On Zoom in my house because I couldn't come to the school because I was still in Singapore, so I met her on Zoom.
What did you think about her when you met her on Zoom?
I thought she would be fierce and stick and shout at people.
I really like that Miss Leda take care of everybody and try to fix problems with teachers and students. I really like that.
I miss you, Miss Leda. So the most memorable part with Miss Leda was going to Shanghai with Miss Leda for choir.
I'm be quiet. We will miss you, Miss Leda. It was very nice to hang out with you in SIS. 안녕히 잘 가세요.
Bye, Miss Leda. I hope you have a great day.
Hello, Mr. Jeff.
Hi.
Have you ever gotten in trouble with Miss Leda before?
I have. I don't know if Miss Leda remembers this, but my first year, the popcorn incident. So, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but she remembers all the popcorn incident.
I'm gonna miss Miss Leda since she's a nice principal and she helps the school sometimes.
How long have you known Miss Leda?
7 years.
Goodbye, Miss Leda. I hope you can find a good school, and I hope one day you can come back.
Does anybody have a goodbye message for Miss Leda? Yeah. Okay, Isabel. Isabel. Anyone?
Me.
Say. What do you want to say?
The students never fail to provide funny, entertaining, and insightful answers.
It is very clear that Miss Leda will be sorely missed.
Goodbye, Miss Leda. You will be missed very much.
Goodbye, Miss Leda. Thank you for being our principal. You're the best. We'll always miss you even when you're gone.
The changes you made to the school will stay, and plus you'll be put on the memory wall thingy.
Goodbye, Miss Leda. I hope you achieve more in the future.
Goodbye, Miss Leda. We hope you have a nice time in your new school and remember me.
And goodbye, Miss Leda. You face a lot of challenge during the school years. Have a nice future.
Don't go, Miss Leda. Don't go.
Thank you for being our awesome principal.
Thank you, Miss Leda, for being at SIS. You were the best principal that I've ever had.
I wanted to thank everyone for joining us on our journey this year.
Gecko News wouldn't even exist with all of you here at the Bay.
Your viewership and participation are much appreciated.
Thank you. See you never. Stay cool, SIS. aglow, to celebrate a legend whom we've come to know, with kindness in her voice and courage in her stride. You've led us through the storms, always by our side. So here's to you, dear